have been summoned here today for their crimes against the environment. They are being put on trial for their actions which may have contributed to the plethora of environmental changes the city has been facing, including the most recent flood. Investigator McIntyre and I were given their names as people to be observed under the Environmental Responsibility Act, which states that citizens may be monitored and investigated without their consent to ensure that all citizens are living their lives in accordance with resource regulations. You, the jury, have had the opportunity to see the defendants in action, and now will be able to decide whether you find them guilty or not guilty. But first, the defendants will be able to speak for themselves and for their actions. The defendants may be seated. Carter Tenier, would you please take the stand?
Carter Tenier, you are being charged with habitual wastefulness. If found guilty by this court, you will face a fine and thus attend conservation advisement sessions.
Mr. Tenier, do you consider yourself to be an environmentalist?
Well, yes, I will consider myself to be an environmentalist. In the sense that I am both fully aware of and I make a conscious effort to address the environmental issues facing our planet today. In fact, the only non-environmentally focused part of my life is my job. But even my career as a pharmacist contributes either to the problem or the solution. It's neutral. It is through my other daily actions that I must act with the environment in mind.
What do you do specifically to reduce your negative impact on our environment?
Well, to begin, my wife and I have furnished our residential site with state-of-the-art appliances that both meet and exceed this environmental standards to which they are held. In fact, some aspects of our home are truly innovative and are only a few months off the market. For example, our refrigeration system does not run off of Freon. It is run off by a water-based coolant that cycles through the machine and is therefore more environmentally friendly and more environmentally stable than previous models. We also take every opportunity to upgrade and modernize our technology used in the home, despite the high cost of undergoing regular updates. My job, as well as my wife's job, enable us to live with these appliances and therefore live in a more environmentally conscious life. We are very lucky.
Mr. Tenier, we have been investigating your daily life and habits, and although you and your wife have certainly shown a concerted effort to diminish your footprint, we have also seen you make many decisions that point to the contrary, mainly in terms of waste. You've thrown away usable clothing, chosen disposable plates over China. Do you deny these actions and instances?
Well, no.
You and your wife, Morgan Tenier, are expecting a child, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Tenier, we're concerned that with the coming of your child, you will pass on some of your more environmentally unfriendly habits.
Well, now that I'm much more aware, I can assure you.
Mr. Tenier, we are concerned because we do not know whether or not your child will pick up some of your more environmentally ignorant habits. So, to address this concern, we must ask the question, do you plan on teaching these behaviors to your child?
Oh, you really have done your investigations. I'm sorry, but was this part of your initial investigation to invade our private lives? I mean, what does my child have to do with any of this? You can't expect me to answer that question as though you haven't been picking apart our private lives without our knowledge. It's really none of your business. So no, I will not answer that question, nor any other question you have.
Thank you. You may step down. The court would now like to call Cassandra Burnett to the stands.
Cassandra Burnett, you are charged with the overuse of resources. If found guilty, you can face a fine and a cap on the further utilization of the resources.
Do you consider yourself to be an environmentalist, Ms. Burnett?
Yes. Yes. I care about the unreliability our world has been reduced to. I'm a human and I'm meant to be here.
How would you say that you contribute to reducing your negative impact on the environment?
I don't think that I have a negative impact. I'm a person and I have a place here. Humans were born to live on Earth and they have to deal with the situation that they're born into the best that they can.
Well, what about your job and all the chemicals that the cleaning service uses?
I don't have a choice. I have to have that job. It supports me. I originally moved to New York to try and start a bakery, but with the price of wheat, it's so high, it failed, and with my personal situation, it's difficult.
What is your personal situation?
I have a medical condition that requires me to purchase medicinal oxygen.
Could you please describe this condition to the court?
I have bronchial edema. My family wasn't able to afford the corrective surgery. I have to use the oxygen in order to go to work.
Would you consider this an overuse of resources?
This is not my fault. I can't help that I can't breathe. I don't want to have to buy oxygen. I just want to be normal. I don't do it out of some sort of malicious scheme to take things from other people.
What about the oxygen you stole?
That wasn't my idea. And I didn't really steal it, did I?
Thank you. That will be all. You may step down. The court now